Hey Canucks fans, it is Canucks game day. We have so much to talk about on a day where the Canucks host the LA Kings. I'll be going to the game. We can talk about playoff clinching scenarios. We can talk about lineup decisions and injured players returning and guys getting injured. And we can talk about a first round draft pick making his way over to North America. So much to talk about. Let's get right into it. I want to thank everyone who joined me for my live stream last night. I gave away a pair of tickets to Canucks Coyotes for April 10, and there were 181 entries in the contest. By far, our biggest contest ever. A lot of fun. Congratulations to Shannon for winning, and she gave the tickets to Nucks 649. So a pretty cool moment and a really wonderful night last night. If you're part of it, it was something special last night to see all the generosity flowing around. So tonight, the Canucks take on the Los Angeles Kings. And this game, before we get into the lineups and everything, this game has playoff clinching ramifications. So if the Canucks win and St. Louis loses to Vegas, those are the only two games tonight, Vancouver versus LA, St. Louis versus Vegas. So if the Canucks win and St. Louis loses, the Canucks, and it doesn't matter if St. Louis gets, I believe, no, St. Louis got to lose in regulation. Doesn't matter. If the Canucks win, St. Louis loses. The Canucks become the first team in the entire NHL to clinch a playoff spot. Pretty cool. However, if St. Louis wins and beats Vegas, regardless of if the Canucks win or lose, then they can't clinch tonight. And then St. Louis pulls. They're 4 points behind Vegas. So if they beat Vegas in regulation, they pull to within 2 of Vegas. If they beat Vegas in extra time, they pull within 3 of Vegas. So it's kind of interesting dilemma. Whether do you want the Canucks? Is important for you that the Canucks are the first team in the NHL to clinch? Then you're rooting for a Canucks win and a St. Louis loss in regulation, even though they're losing to Vegas. If you're like me and you're saying, "Oh, the Canucks are obviously going to make the playoffs. They're going to clinch. I don't care if they clinch. If they're the first team to clinch officially, I'd rather move a step closer to maybe Vegas not being in the playoffs. So maybe we don't have to face them. And maybe that's kind of irrational. But admittedly, that's still in my head. That's kind of the way I'm leaning. So I'd be fine if the Canucks won, obviously. I'd be fine if St. Louis won. And then maybe we don't clinch until we play Dallas on Thursday. So the Canucks are obviously in the playoffs. They're basically in the playoffs right now at 98 points or whatever they have. Yeah, 98 or 99. So, not worried at all, but it kind of sets up an interesting scenario tonight. Speaking of tonight, if you're at the game, please come say hello. I'll be there with legendary Lucas Gates. And during the second intermission, we'll be hanging out outside of the section 315 in the concourse, right in the dressing room display at the top of the stairs there. So again, second intermission. If you want to say a quick hello, chat some Canucks, and meet, we'll be outside section 315, just hanging out. Now, who are the Canucks going to ice in their lineup tonight? Well, it's kind of interesting. They're not doing a practice or game day skate today because they practiced yesterday, the day after they beat Calgary on the weekend. And for today, we don't know if Elias Lindholm's going to play. I think that's the biggest question mark. So this is how the Canucks practiced yesterday. And remember, I believe that you do practice as you're going to play, but we've also heard that the Canucks have 10 or 12 games left, that now's the chance to try and experiment different things in your practices. So with no Elias Lindholm yesterday, the Canucks lined up like this at practice. Pettersson, Garland, and Höglander. You're not touching that line. Then it was Miller, Besser, and Phil DiGiuseppe. Then the third line had Bluger between Mikheyev and Lafferty, and your fourth line, Neil Zaman, Vasily Podkolzin, and I'm missing someone. Oh, Pius Suter. Yeah, so it was Suter actually playing center between Podkolzin and Oman. Then on D, they split up Hughes and Hronek. You had Hughes with Myers. You had Zadorov with Hronek. I kind of like that pairing, actually. And then you had Cole and Soucy as your third pairing. And then you had Friedman and Juleson as your fourth pairing. So, up front, the Elias Lindholm story is kind of interesting because he didn't practice on Wednesday. He played in the game on Thursday. Sorry, back up. He didn't practice on Friday after the Montreal game. He played in the game on Saturday against his former team, the Flames, and he scored that empty net goal. Then he didn't practice yesterday. And then there was actually a suggestion to Rick Tocchet in his post-practice media availability, would you consider shutting Lindholm down for the regular season until the playoffs. And Tocchet did not say, yes, that's what they're going to do, but he basically didn't answer it and said, well, we're still trying to figure out the best way to handle this. Someone said knee. I think it's wrists because he did a poor job in the faceoff circle, at least on Thursday night before he took his first day off. And with the wrist, we've seen it with PD. It's kind of temperamental. You just kind of work on it between games and everything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Lindholm, but there's a chance that he might not play tonight. And then if he doesn't, we kind of saw the line shuffling that could happen. On D, my guess is after sitting for 2 games, even though they're both wins, my guess is Ian Cole gets back in. Why would he be practicing on a pairing with Susie if not? And why would Juleson be skating with Friedman if there isn't going to be a switch? So expect it to be. I don't know if they're going to go back to Hughes, Hronek, and then Susie, Myers, and Zadorov, Cole, or if they go as they practice, it would be Hughes, Myers, Zadorov, Hronek, Cole, Susie, or Susie, Cole. So we will see what happens tonight, but it should be a good game. The Canucks two games ago against LA, that was the one where they got blown out at home, and it was a very boring game. And then they played LA again recently in LA, and they beat them, which was nice in a more exciting game. So we will see what happens tonight at Rogers Arena. Actually, was the other game at home too? That second LA game? Doesn't matter. I know that they lost the first one because I was at that one. Then they won the second one. And then we'll see what happens tonight. One other roster news bit is that Dakota Joshua was at practice yesterday in a non-contact jersey. But the fact that he was at practice is a good thing. Rick Tocchet mentioned that he has been skating for a month, so that leads me to believe his injury is upper body. And we all know that. We all think it's the hand. There were a couple of fears that it might be a concussion, but it sounds like it was the hand. And if he's skating at practice in non-contact, usually you only do that for 1 or 2 practices, and then you have 1 or 2 practices with the main team with contact, and then you play. So I think Joshua's probably about a week and a half away from returning, and I think that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome once he does return. And it'll be fascinating to see what Rick Tocchet does with the lines. Do you bring Garland off of that PD line so you can reunite Joshua, Garland, and Bluger, or do you keep Garland up there and kind of slot Joshua in somewhere? I think they're going to do the latter, actually. I think you can, just like the Lotto line, you can go back to Bluger, Joshua, Garland if you need to because you know that it works. But they might not want to wreck the chemistry of the Pettersson, Garland, Hoglander line right now. But we'll see. Dakota Joshua's not even been activated yet. He's not ready to go. So we can cross that bridge when we get to it. Speaking of crossing bridges or crossing oceans, Jonathan Lekkerimaki, our first-round draft pick from 2022, our 15th overall draft pick, he has now finished his Swedish season. He is now in Abbotsford. He's going to play with the Abbotsford Canucks for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and he's hoping to be named to the Swedish World Championship roster. That's the tournament that happens basically as the Stanley Cup playoffs are starting, or at least 1 or 2 rounds are done. So that's what his hope is. Immediate future is to make that Swedish national team, and then we don't know next year if he's going to return to Sweden, if he's going to spend the whole season in Abbotsford. He spent the whole season in Sweden this year, but his Canucks pro debut is getting closer. I don't think they're going to call him up to the big club this year unless they're absolutely desperate or decimated by injuries. But yeah, the fact that he's playing in Abbotsford is a wonderful step in his career development, and maybe we see him in a Vancouver Canucks lineup as early as next season, or if he goes back to Sweden, maybe at the end of next season. But no rush. I think it's great that, in my mind, it was always DPD that would get here first and play for the Canucks first, then Lekkerimaki, and then Verlander. I think it's going to be in that order. But yes, good news, and we'll have all eyes on Jonathan Lekkerimaki as he suits up for the Abbotsford Canucks. Canucks fans, let me know your score prediction. It's funny, I didn't predict the 4-2 score, and it was a 4-2 score against Calgary. Low scoring today. I'm going 3-1 Vancouver. Canucks are going to win 3-1. And let's say Brock Besser scores the first goal. I've been saying that for the last few games, but let's say Brock Besser scores the first goal. Give me your predictions in the comments below. Shout out to my sponsors, Vancity Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. Thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, make sure you do those things. Subscribe, like the video. You can leave a tip. You can become a member. You can upgrade your membership. Give me your score prediction. Give me your first Canucks goal scorer. And if you're at the game tonight, come say hi. second intermission outside of section 315. Gonna figure out if I'm doing it from home or from my office, but we got Canucks After Dark at 10, my own show at 11:15 tonight. So lots of content for you after hopefully we witness a Canucks win. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.